Before I begin this video, I very much hope that anyone who watches this is doing well and that their family, friends and acquaintances are also well. Although there is much talk about how countries may start to loosen up lockdown restrictions for the coronavirus, please be mindful that until there is a successful vaccination, the threat still remains. Please consider this carefully if you are making any decisions about returning to work or any other activity, and do what is best for you. As I began to try and create an objective review update for Fallout 76, it became clear that, although it would be possible to do so, it wouldn't effectively reflect all that I had to say. So for only the second time in this channel's history, this will be an editorial. In other words, leaning towards subjectivity than attempting to be objective. Additionally, if you are considering purchasing Fallout 76 or returning to it, I would also like to recommend the following two videos that offer different perspectives. The first is from KevDoit, one of the first subscribers to this channel, and the second from Skill Up. However, the opinions in this video are my own and derived independently. One of the main reasons that I have struggled in my approach to writing this has been predominantly to do with my absolute adoration of Fallout 4. In preparation for this video, I not only began a new character in Fallout 76, but also created a new character in Fallout 4 and took it in turns to play through both games from the beginning. This also gave me a clearer perspective of inherent flaws within Fallout 4, and why, despite those flaws, they didn't impact the experience of Fallout 4 anywhere near as much as they did in Fallout 76. There have been some improvements to the playing experience of Fallout 76, but they are not significant enough to have changed many of the issues that I had with the game in my first ever playthrough. Again, initially at least, it feels great to be back in the Fallout universe in a new area, with that freedom to explore and discover, and of course the soundtrack by Inon Zur is absolutely brilliant, a wonderful layering of different textures and moods that stamp that Fallout atmosphere on the different environments. But as much as a fan of Fallout 4 hungers for new areas to discover, there are just so many things that cumulatively overshadow this. In the original review, I had discussed that the problem with Fallout 76 wasn't the fact that there was no human NPCs within Fallout 76, but that it was in fact the combat. In actuality, the combat in Fallout 76 is the same as it is in Fallout 4, with one very large discrepancy. In Fallout 76, the combat is being networked through a server. In Fallout 4, it isn't. Fallout 4's combat can be just as manic and glitchy as within Fallout 76, but VATS, the slow motion bullet time ability, works. It gives you time. In Fallout 76, despite almost 2 years having gone by and various updates, VATS only serves to help you hit a target. It doesn't give the player any significant amount of time at all. In Fallout 4, you can bring up your pip-boy at any time to pause the game, even during combat, allowing you to use provisions, drinks, healing aids, change weapons, etc. In Fallout 76, the game doesn't pause if you bring up the pip-boy, so it is almost impossible to use the pip-boy within combat. Often combat in Fallout 76 feels like this. In both games, my approach was to max out stealth and use a high-powered sniper rifle, as powerful as my level and skills would allow. I had some luck with Fallout 76's new legendary script reward system and got a very good sniper rifle that ignores half of an opponent's armour. Yet, as great as that is, combat still remains a complete nightmare. There were so many times that I was jumping backwards, trying to pull away from an obvious rubber banding effect on the enemies, which are moving so quickly and irregularly, all the time fighting the combined effects of lag because of the online connectivity and the relinquished VAT system. It is truly exasperating. So what of the new NPCs and the storylines that are now included? There is nothing negative to say about the voice acting performances at all. They're all great and easily up to the standard found within Fallout 4. However, although it is great to experience these new quests, Fallout 76 wasn't originally created with an NPC main storyline running through it. So now at the beginning of your adventures within Apalachia, there is a little confusion as to what is the priority. The NPC missions, the automated missions, or exploration? I'm not going to relate any story-based information here, but needless to say that the new NPC quests felt more like an expansion to an existing NPC-based game than a main story, which is of course what it is, but it just feels like a disparity. Graphically, there seems to be more stability within Fallout 76, more consistency perhaps, but textures still do fade in resolution, and there are occasional times where the environmental detailing takes time to load, albeit less than before. As I approached level 40 though, all of the reasons that I stopped playing Fallout 76 originally began to resurface. The lack of inventory space within storage, despite the new inclusion of backpacks, the relatively pitiful building space. After all, in Fallout 4 one of the building spaces is a whole island, as well as the other issues I mentioned above. Overarching all of this though is the simple fact that the assets that you get in Fallout 4 for free to build and play with are all gated within Fallout 76, and the pursuit of finding or buying plans to unlock assets that I'm just so familiar with already that I believe should just be part and parcel of the experience already is just so disheartening. This isn't even to mention the blatant drive towards microtransactions that still persists within the game structure, as well as the laughable overpriced Fallout First membership that costs approximately £11 a month. Fallout 4 was released in November 2015 and Fallout 76 in November 2018. Bearing in mind that Fallout 3 had been released a whole 10 years before Fallout 4 in October 2008, it is clear to see that this game just didn't have the development time it needed, and despite 2 years of patching, it still remains broken. The creation engine in which both Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 have been created with wasn't originally intended to be a network gaming engine, and it shows. Fallout 76 needed a game engine that was designed specifically for multiple users over a network structure, but it didn't get that. It got the creation engine with networking tacked onto it, and it has suffered as a result. In the end, I again arrive at the same conclusion that I did in my original review, which is that Fallout 76 should have been an expansion for Fallout 4, something that I am sure many of us would have rather seen. After my second experience of Fallout 76, coming back to Fallout 4 felt like coming back home from an underwhelming and disappointing holiday. Take me home indeed.